Peace, 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 peace. Yo, B, I just picked up this dude, man. It's like the right side of his body is like sort of like paralyzed. Not entirely though, man. It's sort of like paralyzed. He's just sitting there, he trying to move, and it's like he's just shaking. Every time he try to pick up his leg to walk, it shakes. His whole body is shaking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, yo, man, this dude is he's straight glitching. He's straight glitching. And I started thinking that, you know that they say every 7 years your cells or certain organs rejuvenate itself. Or every 3 or 6 months, like the liver would rejuvenate itself, things of that nature, or repair itself or rebuild itself. Let's take a look at what this rejuvenation or repair actually is, man. Now, it's not every 7 years. It might, that's just like an estimate. So you could look at it like it'll take up to 7 years to fully upgrade. Because that's what that whole rejuvenation thing is about. Meaning that your cells or your organs are upgrading the software, and it takes months or years to install the program that has been downloaded. Now, many might not know this, but when you out here in the sun, they would say that when you go out into the sun, you would get this dark tan. And, they would say, well, the melanin rising to the surface. For argument's sake, we ain't gonna get into the whole melanin because I already broke that down. It was like melanin rise to the surface and it gets darker, and or carbon rise to the surface and it gets darker. See, what's actually happening with that is that your body is absorbing codes. It's absorbing lightware. I will call it lightware. That goes into the software, which would be the skin, which is an organism. And then it downloads the lightware that went into the skin into the biology. And then the cells now, or the organs, or the cells and organs, or the entire makeup of your body gets series of codes distributed throughout the network of the body. Hold on for a second. Base, you got anything right now or anything in that area? Because I want to grab something to eat, because I already know how crazy it gets on the clock.
Stand by in this area.
You said stand by in Nostrand?
Yeah. Where do you want to go to eat? Where do you want to go to eat?
You already know where I go, player. I'm saying, if you got anything right now, or if you ain't got nothing, slide over there real quick.
Nothing right now. Nothing right now.
Alright. Yeah, so it gets downloaded into the software known as the cells, flesh, tissues Well, let me just keep it exclusive to the cells, because the cells is the ones that really does the work. Well, I don't want to make it seem like the cells is only doing the work, but the cells does hella labor. There's many different types of cells. Your cells does hella labor making sure that certain minerals, we ain't gonna talk about this nutrients and proteins because that's all artificial. Those are actually series of hacks that would have my man who just, you know what I'm saying, came up out of here all shaking like he doing the Harlem Shake. You know what I'm saying? His genes has been hacked. You know what I mean? So the cells, the skin downloads the lightware into the bioware. Now the cells upload it through the follicles that's on the cells. Then the cells download it after it uploads it, because it's going through a series of filters. You got to know it has to be digestible for the cells, just like the sunlight go through the series of layers of the ozone layer, which is filters, filtering the light down, filtering it down. It constantly needs to be filtered down because, you know, we vibrating so damn low right now that it's like the sunlight got to be stripped down damn near the least common denominator, man, so we could download it, man. But that just goes to show how high frequency the God is, that it has to go through so many different layers of filtration so that we could digest the frequency of God, so of the gods. So the cells now upload it by way of the follicles, and then it goes throughout the network that exists within the body and installs it. It installs it in many different levels. So when you hear about people's cells or blood or bones or muscles, tissue, hair, skin, eyes, teeth, gums, organs being replenished, is actually being upgraded by way of SolRA codes. You constantly being upgraded to move you forward. The same way how they wirelessly upgrade all of these electronic devices we have, whether it's a tablet, then TV. Man, I got this TV that's wireless. This wireless TV, and matter of fact, yeah, I got this wireless TV, the Wi-Fi, and it receives updates from Sony wirelessly. So the same way how they update these cell phones, TVs, tablets, you know what I'm saying, these multimedia devices wirelessly, because it's all a radio wave signal that's programmed to recognize the host. In other words, the radio waves that's flying through our head in this planet is coded to identify specific hardware devices. That's why it won't be, that's why you will see you can upload, or should I say you could update, let's say a wireless TV, and a wireless TV that's made from Sony, and you could update a tablet that's made from Samsung simultaneously, and none of the radio frequencies would get adopted by the bodies of these devices that's not tailor-made for it. In other words, there would be no interference in receiving the codes, because the codes are specifically made for that device. So the device recognizes the codes and it accepts the codes, and therefore those signals now communicate with the device hardware makeup, and now it installs, it downloads. First it downloads it, then it installs it into the system. That's the same thing that the body does with the sunlight. Don't think because you out here in the sun, you just getting a tan on, or it's nice out here. You are consistently being upgraded genetically by way of sunlight. Continuously. You know what I mean? I got people that I be picking up, they be like, They be like, yo, how you like, yo, you move mad fast. They be like, how old are you, in your 20s? They be like, yo, you move mad fast. It be cold as hell out here. They be all bubbled up, earmuffs on, scarf, gloves, all that. Big bubble jack, goose down jacket. It's cold out here. I got this thin shirt right here. This little thin shirt I got on. And they be like, yo, you ain't cold? I be like, nah, I ain't cold. They be like, how come you ain't cold? I just, just give them the subtle, man, I just got good blood, man. That's shit, man, because a lot of the times, man, when you're dealing with a lot of people, you automatically know if you could engage in that type of conversation with them. So I just be like, yo, I got good blood. But the reality is, man, I'm not vibrating low. I don't get cold. My moms will tell you. You know how many times this woman done begged me to wear a damn coat in the wintertime. Boy, why you never wear no coat? I ain't cold. You got me out here walking around feeling funny. When we go places, you ain't got no coat on. I got this coat on. People looking at me like all funny and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, ma, I don't need no coat. She turns around and buy me a damn, what it was, a chinchilla. I don't even wear it. She wear it more than I do. I think it's still at her house. Like, I don't need a coat. You know what I'm saying? My people to tell you that, like, yo, son, this dude never wear a coat in the winter time. They be all goose bubbled up, a snorkel on. You know what I'm saying? Mist coming out of their mouth like they in the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you ain't cold, son? I ain't cold. Like, yo, son, they be feeling my neck. Like, yo, let me touch your neck, son. Like, yo, son, how you, like, yo, bruh, son, yo, it's all about the vibrations, man. You got to know that the cold energy is a frequency. If you vibrating on that SolRA frequency, you ain't going to be getting cold like that, man. You ain't going to be getting cold. You know what I mean? Straight up. But, yeah. So the dude that I had up in here, yeah. So the sun codes is constantly upgrading you, constantly. So when you would hear like these doctors or scientists say that your cells or organs rejuvenate itself every such and such months or such and such years, what they actually saying, they don't really want to talk it in its purest language, because then you will begin to think. So they have to give you some watered down, diluted BS description. You're actually constantly being upgraded by way of the sun. You're constantly incorporating light codes that was specifically tailor-made for you. The sun knows that you're here on this planet. I'm speaking to the God race right now. You know what I'm saying? But, everybody could somewhat benefit from this. But I'm speaking to the God race right now. The carbonated beings. That's who I'm speaking to. Not the melanated beings. Not the melanated creatures. The carbonated beings. The God race. The sun knows that you're here on this planet. And you have specific codes. You get specific BioWare updates. Just like I gave the example with the TV and the tablet. They get specific codes. You have specific codes. Look at your energy codes. They call it a fingerprint. You have a specific energetic code that the sun is constantly hitting you with codes that you're supposed to be constantly upgrading. You know what I'm saying? But they interfering, as I stated before, those spirits. They serve as an interference mechanism. They like a jamming frequency, static. They have like a static substance within their makeup that wherever they are around, they would jam certain frequencies, man. They're like a frequency jammer. They come into an environment where everything is stable. They now need to distort that environment by moving things, taking things, put it like they come into your house, they use dishes and just leave it on the table without even putting it in the sink and washing it. That's the interference. They jam in the frequency of a stable household that represents order. And there's many ways you could decipher the jamming mechanism. They just jam things when they would just want to argue. That's jamming. They jam in the frequency. When somebody wants, you get into a conversation, a logical conversation with somebody, and they just want to argue, that is an attempt to jam the stability of your mental faculties. They trying to jam your frequency because they serve as an interference. They always need to interfere with things. You know what I mean? So they got everybody watching this lunavision, aka television, which is the spirit, because you're gazing at a spirit. You're not looking at images on screen. You're looking at a spirit. Instead of you gazing at the soul in the sky. Well, I'm gonna talk about the sky. Instead of you gazing at the soul that's in space, what they call a sun, you've been gazing at a spirit, which is the television, which is being ran by electricity, which is a spirit. So you gazing at spirits. You gazing at various different vibrations of spirits in the television. And spirits are very good at what? Mimicking. They are excellent at mimicking. They excellent at cloning. What is a clone? A clone is not something that looks like something. Like say you got keep it practical. Say you got an orange. Say you got a real orange with seeds. And then you got a clone orange with no seeds. Most people might think that the clone has to do with the orange looking like the orange. The fake orange looking like the real orange. No, that's not the entire definition of a clone. See, that's the Matrix definition of a clone. But the God definition of a clone, which is the only definition of a clone, is that it's artificial. A clone is something that's artificial, period. We ain't dealing with the Matrix definitions, because there's a whole bunch of Matrix definitions existing out here. And if you believing, you damn sure running a Matrix simulated ego set. I ain't gonna call it a mindset, because people with minds think. People with egos, they don't think, they believe, they feel. So you running an egotistical feeling whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. Not a mindset, a feel set. You just banging off emotions. So the spirits, they very good at mimicking the real. You got to know that if you're looking at something that is fake, there has to be an authentic version. Spirits cloak. That's how they get their cloak on. When you was looking at all these spaceships movies, like you say, you're looking at UFOs, like they've got a bunch of fake videos on YouTube about UFOs. But I'm gonna just use this as an example, because you could always find truth in the fake, because it's fake, and all you gotta do is analyze it. But you could never find no fake within the truth, because it's all real. So you will look at all these videos on YouTube. You look at a video and they will show a UFO up in space. I mean, not in space, in Earth, up in the sky. And then you would see it. And they will show somebody showing a camera at it. And they'll be like, wow, look at that UFO up there, blah, blah, blah. And then a few seconds later, the UFO would disappear. And then they would say, wow, it dematerialized. It must have known that we was watching it. What actually happened? They would say things like, well, wow, it went into cloak mode. It cloaked. It just got it cloak on. It cloaked because you can't see it. It's now cloaked. It now went into the spiritual frequency, which is to dematerialize from matter into that spiritual energy. Now the physical eye can't see it, but the etheric eye, aka the pineal gland, could see it. Could see it for what it is. It's a fake. Real UFOs don't materialize, period. Know what I mean? Real UFOs are pure energy. The real UFO, because you know, as I stated before, that if they got something that's artificial, they have to have an authentic version. So when you see those metallic UFOs that could dematerialize, even though they have the technology to do that, you might think that is real. Nah, that's fake. That's a fake UFO. The real UFOs is the soul. Don't think that the soul has arms, legs, limbs, and things like that, because the soul might appear with arms, legs, and limbs because energy mimics the design of the body that it's in. Case in point, does electricity really look like this, or is it mimicking the shape? Is it mimicking the shape and the design that is inside the tablet? Electricity doesn't look like a rectangle. Hell no. It's a shapeless, formless energy. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like a rectangle, but it's mimicking the design. When you look at traffic lights, is that traffic light? Is that light? Now we know it ain't light, but I'm just speaking the language. Is that light that's coming from the traffic light really round? Is it really round, or is it manipulated? Or is it mimicking the design of the body that it's inside of? Exactly. So when you look, that's why I say when you look in the mirror and you see that body, you're not the body. So your soul is just mimicking the design of the body. Because in order to manipulate the body, it has to, see, I'm using that term, speak the language, mimic. I don't want people to think that the soul is fake in any shape, form, or fashion. But I'm just using that term so people can have an idea of what I'm talking about. But it's mimicking the design of the body so that now the soul can manipulate it. But when the soul comes out of the body, there's times that the soul would still resemble the shape of the body, and that would happen if the soul doesn't even know it's outside of the body. There's times you come out your body and you will have like the limbs, but it'll be sort of like in a holographic state. But that's times when the soul don't know that it's out of the body. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to ask yourself. Look, I mean, it's logical, man. It's logical. It's just based on logic in regards to the biological design, how our bodies is. That's all a code that was encrypted in the semen. Now, when you're looking at cells, semen cells, you ain't seeing no arms, no legs, no eyes, and none of that. You're not. Those are all codes that's encrypted in the semen. So how could you say that the soul has limbs, legs, arms, eyes, and all of that? It doesn't have none of that. That is just a design that is mimicking, or should I say, is a design that is taken form of so that it can manipulate the body. But when the soul comes up out of the body, it's shapeless and formless. It could turn into a sphere. So when you see that energy turning into a sphere, and when it's leaving the planet, there's times that it, based upon, when you see it leaving the planet, number one, notice that when you always see the so-called UFO videos of when it's like pure light and it's leaving the planet, it be pulsating different colors. But they would sometimes put it up under some black and white camera lens so you can't really see what's going on. Because the only way you're going to be able to leave the planet is if you vibrating on the frequency of the sun, which is pulsating many different frequencies. Not locked into one vibration, blue, which is lunar, which is the spirits. Locked into that one light, or that one energy, or that one frequency. Locked into magnetism. You pulsate in many different colors naturally, the soul could leave the planet. Because those frequencies that the soul is pulsating is codes. is like a series of codes that would allow the soul to go in and out of dimensions. You have to communicate the same way how the sun comes into this dimension, which is many different codes. Your greens, your blues, your reds, your yellows, your violet. Those are different codes. It's coming in here. It can crack the code because the gods made the code. So the gods know how to get out of the matrix, which is this planet Earth. Light could really leave the matrix. I'm not talking about these fake leaving the matrix when they go into some astronaut suits and they still in damn Earth orbit. They ain't really going nowhere. And even if they go to Mars, they still in the matrix, because Mars is an extension of the matrix as well, because Mars is a hybrid planet. Straight up. All hybrid planets got water on it. All hybrid planets are not suns. Give it to you in a nutshell. A hybrid planet is a planet that's not a sun. A real sun, because you got low frequency suns. Like Earth is a low frequency sun. You know what I mean? But yeah. So the real UFOs is the souls. Hold on for a second. Yeah. So the real UFOs is the souls, man. Pulsating those many different colors. They could take any shape and any form, son. Because they could occupy, any dimension. Straight up. A dimension is a vibration. Also has certain type of life forms that exist in certain types of dimensions. Don't think that when you're looking at humans or people and animals, those are or sea life, sea creatures, insects, those are the only type of designed bodies. Man, bruh. The type of designs that I'll be seeing is, man, it's not even in, it's way beyond any physical form, man. Way beyond, man. I mean, you it's like, it's sort of, you can't even use anything in this dimension that's related to describe it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you would have to use descriptions that exist outside of the matrix to describe it, because it looks nothing like anything that's in here. You know what I mean? That's when you go past the matrix definitions. But yeah, so dude up in here, man, he all glitched up because he ain't been getting his SolRA codes. He been getting lunar codes. The food that he been eating. And I know he got a poor diet, because that's the only reason you're gonna get a stroke. And that all got to do with when there's an obstruction of the energy, clogging something, some organ or body part is being undermined because it's been hacked. And instead of getting the SolRA codes, you're now getting lunar codes, which is a virus, and it hacks the body. And you already know that when a virus goes into anything, it corrupts the hardware or the software. A virus is corrupted software, and it corrupts the hardware. The hardware would be the body. So now the body is all shaky. It can't even move right. You can't even send the telepathic commands to the body to walk, because that bridge that will link the telepathic ways, or the telepathic waves to communicate with the legs, has become hacked. So now when you send in the signals, the regular waves to the legs to communicate, those signals is being distorted because the wiring has been compromised. So now you got the shakes. But they just want to tell you that it's hereditary and it runs in a damn family. No, the only thing that runs in a damn family, especially the so-called black race, is being ignorant. Oh my God, it's right here. She got that fro, boy, rocking that fro. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Rock that fro, rock that crown, rep that crown. You know what I'm saying? The hell with this matrix attire. Walking around with some perm, wig, and weave. That's the identity of the goddamn matrix. That's not a solar reflection. That's a lunar projection. That's not a solar projection. That's not from the future. A solar projection. That is a lunar projection of dumbed down light. A projection got to do with the dumbed down light. A projection got to do with light that's coming from the future. That's continuous, my man. My woman. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with that forelight. The light that's ahead of time. So you got these people up over here right now. They getting their vote on. Who the hell they voting for? They voting to be ruled. They are about to appoint another archon. That's what they doing right here. Appointing archons. Spiritual masters. Or appointed slave managers to govern the weak. The hell you gonna vote? Waste my goddamn time voting for what? The hell out of here. Don't matter who you vote for in the realm of the matrix. It's always gonna be a glitch because the whole program is BS. It's BS. And they got the little kids on the line too. Poisoning the minds of the future to vote for some demon. Some goddamn demon. The hell with voting. You know what I vote for? That every so-called black woman take wigs, perms, and weaves off their head. Yes, sir. And wear their real crown. That's what I vote for. Vote for that. Vote for the so-called black woman to stop wearing perms, wigs, and weaves. Rep your crown. If you want to vote for that. That's a real campaign. Not this fake campaign they got out here. Poisoning the minds of the masses. But then again, they all been hacked by lunavision. Get me started up in this mother dutter. Stand on top of this damn van. Hurry it up. Get me all fired up. Straight avocados, man. But yeah. Yeah, son, you know they did that dude dirty, man. Well, he did himself dirty, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you gotta live and you learn, man. You know, a lot of people on the planet is just here to show you an example of not what to do, man. I used to say that about this dude I used to chill with back in the days, man. We call him LD. Well, that ain't actually what we call it. That's what he told us his name was LD. He said it stood for Little Devil. I used to say, yo, man, that stands for Little Dirty, son. You a dirty ass. Nah. You know what I mean? LD. I used to be like, yo, LD, man, your purpose on this planet is to show me what not to do. I used to stay telling him that, man. He used to get tight. It's like, yo, son, why you trying to play me, son? Ain't nobody trying to play you, man. Straight up. If I walk the path that you walk, then I'm actually seeing what I'm going to devolve into. I'm just looking at what I'm going to de-appreciate into. You. If I walk your path. Hell no. Eating Vienna, what is it? Vienna sausages. Man, listen. But yeah, man. Word up. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Get your clothes, man. And you got a lot of people, man, they be bundling up when the sun is out. You got people that don't even come outside when the sun out. Oh, it's too hot outside. You stay inside up under the AC. They got that lunar program. They told you that in the movie Sixth Sense. The spirits come around when it's cold. Cold symbolizes, or it immediately represents, I ain't gonna say symbolizing, it ain't symbolic, it's literally. Cold literally means low energy. Cold literally means when the energy settings is very low. Like I'm driving this van right now. The engine is hot. That means the energy is heating up. But if I take the van off and let it sit for like 3-4 hours, the engine cools down. Why? Because the energy is no longer high. It's getting lower, lower, and lower, and lower. When they telling you that the spirits come along when it's cold, they telling you that the spirits only come into an environment that's vibrating low. So if your body is vibrating low, They up in your body. Straight avocados, man. They all up inside you. Manipulating your ass. You know what I mean? And they got him. They got him. They all on his aura. Because he vibrating low. He vibrating so low that he's shaking. Why he's shaking? Because he's cold. Because the spirit is on him. They lowered his temperature. You know what I mean? Yo, man. I'm out of here, Senate. Y'all already know what it is. The hell with vote. I'm gonna vote for some Hillary or McDonald, McTrump had a phone. Nah, dog, I passed.